Early Wanderings. In the quaint and bustling town of Stagira, nestled along the northeastern coast of Greece, a young boy named Aristotle began his journey. Born into a world brimming with wonder, his early years were a tapestry of lush landscapes, vibrant marketplaces, and intriguing local lore. The son of Nicomachus, the court physician to the Macedonian royal family, Aristotle's life was steeped in learning and observation from the start. His father's influence was profound, introducing young Aristotle to the wonders of the human body and the natural world. They would often walk through the town's healing center, a place filled with herbs, potions, and patients seeking cures. Here, Aristotle's fascination with life's mysteries took root. He learned about the healing properties of plants, the importance of diet and exercise, and the intricate ways in which living things function. These early lessons in observation and analysis laid the groundwork for his later philosophical inquiries. Stagira itself was a place of beauty and challenge. The town, perched on the fringes of the vast and untamed Chalcidice Peninsula, was surrounded by dense forests, rugged mountains, and the sparkling Aegean Sea. For Aristotle, this was a playground for the mind and senses. He spent hours exploring the wilderness, observing animals in their natural habitats, studying the plants and trees, and gazing at the stars that lit up the night sky. Each day brought new questions. Why do seasons change? How do birds know where to fly in the winter? What lies beyond the horizon? Aristotle's mother, Festis, was also a significant influence. A woman of wisdom and kindness, she taught her son about the legends and myths of their land. Through her stories, Aristotle learned about the gods and heroes of ancient Greece, the moral lessons they imparted, and the cultural values they represented. These tales sparked his imagination and led him to ponder deeper questions about life, virtue, and the nature of the divine. As Aristotle grew, so did his thirst for knowledge. He was known among the townsfolk for his incessant questioning and keen observation. The local teachers and elders saw a bright spark in him, and they nurtured his growing intellect by engaging him in debates and discussions. They introduced him to the works of earlier philosophers and poets, exposing him to a world of ideas and sparking his interest in the pursuit of wisdom. Tragedy struck, however, when Aristotle was still young. His parents passed away, leaving him an orphan. This loss marked a turning point in his life. The comforts and security of his childhood were replaced by a newfound sense of responsibility and independence. He was taken in by a guardian named Proxenus, who recognized the boy's potential and ensured that his education continued. Aristotle's resolve to learn and understand the world around him only deepened during this time. As a teenager, Aristotle's reputation as a bright and curious mind reached far beyond Stagira. News of his intellect and potential spread, eventually reaching the ears of Plato, the renowned philosopher in Athens. Plato invited Aristotle to join his academy, a prestigious institution dedicated to philosophy, science, and learning. This invitation was a turning point, marking the end of Aristotle's childhood and the beginning of his journey as a philosopher. In his final years in Stagira, Aristotle prepared for this new chapter in his life. He continued to study, reflect, and question everything around him. He pondered the lessons of his parents, the beauty of his surroundings, and the stories and teachings that had shaped him. The young boy from Stagira was now ready to step into a broader world, carrying with him a deep and abiding curiosity about the nature of existence, the workings of the universe, and the potential for human understanding. As the narrative of his early years closes, Aristotle stands on the brink of a new adventure. The next chapter will see him enter the academy, where his ideas will be challenged, his beliefs tested, and his philosophical legacy forged. But the roots of his journey lie here, in the early wanderings of a boy from Stagira, whose quest for knowledge began with simple questions about the world around him. In this chapter, we've journeyed through Aristotle's childhood, exploring the people, places, and experiences that shaped his early years. We've seen how his curiosity was kindled by the natural world, how tragedy and change forged his character, and how his intellectual promise set him on a path to greatness. As we move forward, we'll follow Aristotle into the world of the academy and beyond, tracing the development of his thoughts and ideas as he grows from a student of philosophy into a master of it. This expanded narrative provides a rich, detailed picture of Aristotle's early life, designed to engage B1 level English learners with its clear language and descriptive storytelling, all while setting the stage for the profound philosophical journey that lies ahead. Chapter 2. Plato's Apprentice. The stage is set in ancient Athens, where the towering pillars of the academy stand as a beacon of knowledge and inquiry. This is where our young Aristotle, the curious boy from Stagira, steps into a new world, a world teeming with debate, discussion, and discovery. Under the shadow of the great philosopher Plato, Aristotle begins a journey that will forever change him and the course of philosophy. Imagine the academy as a bustling hub of activity. Scholars from all corners of the Greek world gather here, their minds alight with ideas and questions. The air is thick with the spirit of inquiry, as the most brilliant thinkers of the age debate the nature of reality, the essence of good and evil, and the mysteries of the universe. Into this world steps Aristotle, his eyes wide with wonder, and his mind ready to absorb every drop of wisdom. Plato, the founder of the academy, is not just a teacher. He's a towering figure, a giant of thought whose ideas have shaped the very fabric of philosophy. He sees in Aristotle a bright and eager mind, a potential vessel for his own vast knowledge. Under Plato's guidance, Aristotle embarks on a rigorous journey of learning, challenging his preconceptions and expanding his understanding. The subjects they study are diverse and profound. They delve into metaphysics, exploring the nature of existence and the underlying principles of the universe. They discuss ethics, pondering the nature of virtue and the best way to live a good life. They explore the realm of politics, considering the best ways to govern and create a just society. And through it all, Aristotle absorbs, questions, and grows. One of the central lessons Aristotle learns from Plato is the theory of forms, a concept that suggests that beyond our physical world lies a realm of perfect and immutable forms or ideas. These forms, according to Plato, are the true reality, and our world is merely a shadow of their perfection. This idea fascinates Aristotle, but it also sows the seeds of his future disagreements with his teacher. As the years pass, Aristotle's intellect and understanding deepen. He becomes known not just as Plato's student, but as a formidable thinker in his own right. He starts to develop his own ideas, building upon the foundation Plato has provided, but also questioning and refining it. The academy becomes a crucible for his thought, a place where he can test his ideas against those of his peers and mentors. But Aristotle's time at the academy isn't just about intellectual growth. It's also about personal development. He forms close friendships with other students, bonds forged in the fire of shared study and spirited debate. He learns the art of rhetoric, the skill of persuading and influencing others through speech, which will serve him well throughout his life. He also faces challenges and setbacks. There are those who disagree with him, who challenge his ideas and force him to defend his beliefs. These encounters sharpen his mind and teach him the value of critical thinking and rigorous argument. They also show him that knowledge is not just about learning, but about questioning and testing, about continually seeking a deeper understanding of the world. As Aristotle's time at the academy draws to a close, he has transformed. No longer the wide-eyed boy from Stagira, he is now a man, a thinker, and a philosopher in his own right. He has absorbed a world of knowledge, but he has also learned that there is always more to discover. The questions that drive him are not quenched, but kindled into a brighter flame. His relationship with Plato has also evolved. From teacher and student, they have become colleagues, even as Aristotle's emerging ideas begin to diverge from those of his mentor. The respect and affection between them remain, but Aristotle is now ready to step out from Plato's shadow and forge his own path. And so, Aristotle's time at the Academy comes to an end, but his journey is far from over. The lessons he has learned here, the friendships he has formed, and the ideas he has developed will carry him forward into the next chapters of his life. He leaves the Academy not just as Plato's apprentice, but as a philosopher in his own right, ready to explore new ideas, challenge established truths, and contribute his own voice to the great conversation of philosophy. In this chapter, we've followed Aristotle through his transformative years at the Academy, witnessing his intellectual and personal growth. We've seen him absorb the wisdom of Plato, engage with the vibrant intellectual atmosphere of the Academy, and begin to develop his own philosophical ideas. As we close this chapter and look to the next, we carry with us the image of Aristotle, a thinker for the ages, whose quest for knowledge and truth began in the hallowed halls of Plato's Academy. Chapter 3. The Heart of a Teacher. Welcome to a new chapter in the life of Aristotle, a chapter where he transitions from student to master, from learner to leader. This is the story of how Aristotle, with a heart full of wisdom and a mind buzzing with ideas, sets out to found his own school, the Lyceum, in the bustling city of Athens. Imagine Aristotle, now a well-travelled man who has studied under Plato, tutored Alexander the Great, and delved deep into the mysteries of the natural world. He carries with him a treasure trove of knowledge and a burning desire to share it. Athens, the city of wisdom and wonder, is the perfect stage for Aristotle to unfold his vision of a new school, a place where the next generation of thinkers and leaders will be shaped. The Lyceum is not just any school. It's a reflection of Aristotle's unique approach to learning and teaching. Unlike the secluded academy of Plato, the Lyceum is part of the city's heartbeat. It's open, accessible, and integrated into the daily life of Athens. Here, Aristotle introduces a new way of learning, one that is interactive, observational, and deeply engaging. As you walk through the Lyceum's gates, you're greeted by the sight of students engaged in passionate debate, surrounded by lush gardens and walking paths. Aristotle believes in learning through dialogue and encourages his students to question, argue, and think deeply. He often leads his classes through these gardens, discussing and debating as they walk, a method that will come to be known as peripatetic teaching. But Aristotle's teaching is not limited to philosophical debates. He is a man of diverse interests and profound knowledge. Under his guidance, students explore a wide range of subjects from ethics and politics to biology and astronomy. Aristotle's method is hands-on and observational. He encourages students to study the world directly, to learn from what they see and experience. This empirical approach is revolutionary, laying the groundwork for scientific inquiry for centuries to come. In the Lyceum, Aristotle also begins to compile his vast works. He writes on scrolls, covering topics as varied as metaphysics, rhetoric, and poetry. These texts are not just lectures, they are conversations with future generations, a way for Aristotle to continue teaching long after he is gone. His works are meticulous and detailed, reflecting his belief that knowledge should be pursued with rigor and discipline. The Lyceum is also a place of research and documentation. Aristotle and his students collect specimens from the natural world, categorizing and studying them in what could be considered one of the first research laboratories. This collection is not just for curiosity's sake. It's a systematic study of the natural world, an attempt to understand the patterns and principles that govern life. As the Lyceum grows, so does Aristotle's reputation. Students flock from across the Greek world to study under him. Among them are future leaders, scientists, and philosophers. They come not just to learn, but to be transformed. Aristotle doesn't just fill their heads with facts. He teaches them how to think, how to question, and how to seek wisdom. Yet, Aristotle's life is not without challenges. His relationship with his former pupil, Alexander the Great, becomes strained as Alexander's empire expands and his actions become more controversial. Aristotle must navigate the tricky waters of politics and personal relationships, all while maintaining his commitment to truth and ethics. Despite these challenges, Aristotle remains focused on his work at the Lyceum. He is a teacher at heart, dedicated to his students and his quest for knowledge. His days are filled with teaching, writing, and research, a continuous cycle of learning and discovery. As we reflect on this chapter of Aristotle's life, we see a man who has truly become the heart of a teacher. His legacy is not just in the texts he leaves behind, but in the minds he has shaped. The Lyceum stands as a testament to his philosophy, a place where learning is dynamic, interactive, and deeply connected to the world. In this chapter, we've walked alongside Aristotle as he establishes his school and defines his approach to teaching. We've seen his dedication to knowledge, his commitment to his students, and his impact on the world of learning. As we close this chapter, we carry with us the image of Aristotle, walking through the Lyceum's gardens, surrounded by eager students, sharing his wisdom under the Athenian sky. This is the heart of a teacher, a heart that beats with the love of knowledge and the desire to enlighten the minds of others. Chapter 4. The Nature of Reality. Welcome, curious minds, to a journey into the heart of Aristotle's most profound explorations. In this chapter, we delve into the deep waters of metaphysics, the branch of philosophy that Aristotle himself named. It's here, in the quest to understand the nature of reality, that Aristotle's thoughts truly soar. So, let's unfold this story together, simplifying complex ideas into clear, accessible insights. As we step into Aristotle's world, we find him in the Lyceum's lush gardens, surrounded by inquisitive students eager to grasp the mysteries of existence. Aristotle begins by posing a question that has puzzled thinkers for centuries. What is reality? What is it made of? These questions are the foundation of his metaphysical inquiry. Aristotle explains that everything in the world, from the tiniest pebble to the grandest tree, is made of substance. But what is substance? He describes it as the essence of things, the what it is of anything that exists. For Aristotle, understanding substance is key to understanding reality itself. He leads his students in observing the world around them, noting that while things change and grow, there is something underlying that remains the same. An acorn becomes an oak tree, but it's still made of the same stuff. This stuff, this enduring essence, is what Aristotle calls substance. But Aristotle's concept of substance is not just about physical matter. It's also about form and potential. He explains that everything has both matter, the material it's made of, and form, the arrangement of that matter. The form is what gives substance its particular nature. It's the pattern, the design, the structure that makes a thing what it is. As the students listen, they begin to see the world in a new light. They understand that the nature of reality is not just about what things are made of, but also how they are put together and what they can become. This understanding leads to a discussion of potential and actuality. Aristotle describes how everything has the potential to change and become something else. The acorn has the potential to become an oak tree, and the child has the potential to become an adult. This idea of potential is central to Aristotle's view of reality. He believes that understanding a thing's potential helps us understand its true nature. For Aristotle, reality is not just a static collection of objects, but a dynamic process of change and becoming. But Aristotle doesn't stop there. He also explores the causes of things, the reasons why they exist and change. He outlines 4 types of causes: the material cause, what something is made of; the formal cause, its form or design; the efficient cause, what brings about the change; and the final cause, the purpose or goal of the change. Understanding these causes, he argues, is crucial to understanding the nature of reality. As Aristotle speaks, his students are captivated. They're not just learning about abstract concepts, they're learning a new way to see the world. They begin to understand that reality is more complex and more fascinating than they ever imagined. It's not just a collection of things, but a tapestry of forms, potentials, and causes, all woven together in the intricate dance of existence. In this chapter, we've journeyed with Aristotle into the realm of metaphysics. We've explored his concepts of substance, form, potential, and cause. We've seen how he seeks to understand the nature of reality, not just by contemplating abstract ideas, but by observing and engaging with the world around him. As we close this chapter, we carry with us a deeper sense of wonder and a new way of looking at the world. For Aristotle, the nature of reality is not just a topic for philosophical debate. It's a living, breathing mystery, waiting to be explored and understood. So let's take with us the spirit of inquiry and discovery, the desire to look beneath the surface of things and grasp the deeper truths that lie within. This is the heart of Aristotle's metaphysics, a journey into the nature of reality that continues to inspire and enlighten us today. Chapter 5. Classifying the World. As we embark on this new chapter in the life and mind of Aristotle, we turn our gaze to his groundbreaking work in the field of biology and his innovative methods of categorizing life. Picture Aristotle, the philosopher and teacher, now transforming into Aristotle, the naturalist and scientist, venturing into the great unknowns of the natural world with the eyes of an explorer and the mind of a scholar. In the lush surroundings of the Lyceum and during his travels across the Greek Isles, Aristotle's curiosity is piqued by the diversity of life. He observes, dissects, and documents hundreds of species, from the tiniest insects to the largest animals. With each creature he encounters, his desire to understand the complexity of life deepens. Aristotle's approach to studying biology is revolutionary. Unlike his predecessors, who often relied on folklore and speculation, Aristotle bases his conclusions on direct observation and careful analysis. He spends countless hours in the field and by the seashore, watching and noting the habits, structures, and environments of various species. His detailed observations lay the foundation for what will become the science of biology. As you walk alongside Aristotle through his natural laboratory, you'll notice his meticulous method of inquiry. He doesn't just observe, he classifies. But how does one impose order on the vast diversity of life? Aristotle's genius lies in his ability to recognize patterns and similarities among different organisms. He develops a system of classification that, while not perfect, is incredibly advanced for its time. He divides the living world into 2 main groups, animals with blood and animals without it. From there, he further categorizes creatures based on their habitats, behaviors, and physical characteristics. Fish, birds, mammals, and insects, all find their place in Aristotle's grand scheme of life. This method of classification, although it will be refined over centuries, is the bedrock upon which modern taxonomy is built. Aristotle's contributions to biology are not just about categorizing life, they're about understanding it. He studies the life cycles of various creatures, their reproductive habits, and their anatomical structures. His dissections reveal the intricate workings of organs and systems, leading to insights about the functions and purposes of different body parts. His observations on the embryological development of chickens lay the groundwork for the study of genetics and development. But Aristotle's work is not confined to the mere physical aspects of life. He's deeply interested in the behavior and lives of animals as well. He observes the social structure of bees, the hunting habits of lions, and the mating dances of birds. Each observation adds another piece to the puzzle, another layer to our understanding of the natural world. As you listen to the stories of Aristotle's encounters with the myriad forms of life, you'll be struck by his profound respect and wonder for nature. He doesn't see animals and plants as mere objects of study. He sees them as fellow inhabitants of the earth, each playing its part in the great tapestry of life. His work encourages us to look at the natural world with the same sense of wonder and respect. Aristotle's biological studies also reflect his broader philosophical beliefs. He sees a purpose and order in nature, a hierarchy of life from the simplest plants to the most complex animals, with humans at the top. This idea, known as the Great Chain of Being, will influence Western thought for centuries. But more than that, Aristotle believes that by understanding the natural world, we can gain insights into the nature of existence itself. For him, biology is not just a scientific pursuit, it's a way to contemplate the deeper mysteries of life. In this chapter, we've followed Aristotle as he classifies and studies the natural world. We've seen his meticulous approach to observation, his innovative methods of classification, and his profound insights into the workings of life. Aristotle's contributions to biology are immense, laying the foundation for future generations of scientists and thinkers. As we close this chapter, let's carry with us the spirit of Aristotle's inquiry. Let's look at the world around us with fresh eyes, with the curiosity of a philosopher and the wonder of a naturalist. Let's remember that, like Aristotle, we are all explorers in the vast and beautiful world of life. This is the legacy of Aristotle's work in biology, a legacy of knowledge, wonder, and an unending quest to understand the nature of reality. Chapter 6. Ethics and Virtue. Welcome, dear listeners, to an enlightening chapter in the life and teachings of Aristotle. Here, we venture into the heart of his philosophical explorations, focusing on his profound reflections on ethics and virtue. As we delve into Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, we'll uncover the principles that guide our understanding of morality and the good life. Picture Aristotle, the seasoned philosopher, in the twilight of his years at the Lyceum. Surrounded by eager students, he addresses one of humanity's most enduring questions. What does it mean to live a good life? For Aristotle, the answer lies not in wealth or pleasure, but in virtue and ethical living. As we listen to Aristotle's words, we learn about his concept of the golden mean, a principle that advocates for moderation and balance. Aristotle teaches that virtue lies between two extremes, excess and deficiency. Courage, for instance, is a virtue between recklessness and cowardice. Generosity stands between extravagance and stinginess. Through these examples, Aristotle guides us to understand that moral virtue is about finding the right balance in our actions and feelings. But how do we know what the right balance is? Aristotle encourages his students and us to use reason and practical wisdom, or what he calls phronesis. This kind of wisdom is not just about knowledge, it's about applying that knowledge to make good decisions in our everyday lives. It's about understanding the context and nuances of each situation and acting in a way that promotes goodness and well-being. Aristotle also emphasizes the importance of habit in cultivating virtue. He believes that we become just, brave, and wise, not through a single act, but through consistent practice. Virtue, then, is a habit, something we develop over time through repeated actions. Just as a musician learns to play an instrument through practice, we learn to be virtuous by continually choosing good actions. As we explore these ideas, Aristotle introduces us to his concept of the ultimate good, which he identifies as eudaimonia, often translated as happiness or flourishing. For Aristotle, eudaimonia is not about fleeting pleasures or momentary delights. It's about achieving the fullest and most excellent expression of our human nature. It's about living a life of virtue, reason, and fulfillment. But Aristotle's ethics are not just about individual virtue. He also considers the broader context of society and relationships. He teaches that we are social creatures, and our virtues are often expressed through our interactions with others. Friendship for him is not just a source of pleasure, but also a vital part of a good and ethical life. True friends, Aristotle explains, help each other strive for virtue and goodness. As we journey through this chapter, we're not just learning about abstract concepts. We're gaining insights into how to live well and act rightly. Aristotle's ethics are as relevant today as they were in ancient Athens. They challenge us to reflect on our actions, to cultivate our character, and to strive for a life of balance, reason, and virtue. In this exploration of Aristotle's Nicomachean ethics, we've encountered deep and enduring ideas about morality, virtue, and the good life. We've seen how Aristotle's thoughts on ethics continue to influence our understanding of right and wrong, guiding us in our quest for a meaningful and virtuous life. As we close this chapter, let's carry with us the wisdom of Aristotle. Let's strive to find balance in our actions, to cultivate virtue through habit, and to seek the ultimate good of eudaimonia in our lives. Let's remember that our choices and actions matter, not just for our own well-being, but for the well-being of our community and society. This is the essence of Aristotle's teachings on ethics and virtue, a legacy that continues to shape the way we think about morality and the pursuit of a good life. Chapter 7. Politics and Society. As we open the pages to this new chapter in the life and teachings of Aristotle, we find ourselves entering the realm of politics and society. This is where Aristotle, the philosopher and scientist, turns his keen mind to the workings of states and the nature of citizenship. Let's journey together through Aristotle's political theories, exploring his vision of the ideal state and its profound relevance to our own understanding of governance and society. Picture Aristotle in the bustling heart of Athens, a city-state renowned for its rich political life and democratic institutions. It's here, amidst the fervor of public assemblies and the debates of the agora, that Aristotle observes the mechanics of politics and governance. With the same meticulous attention he gave to biological organisms, he studies the political organism of the city-state, or polis, as it was known in his time. Aristotle begins with a fundamental assertion: humans are by nature political animals. We are meant to live in communities and states, he argues, because it is only within such social structures that we can achieve our full potential and live a good life. The state, in Aristotle's eyes, is not just a mechanism for imposing laws and order. It's a community that enables its citizens to live virtuous and fulfilling lives. But what kind of state best fulfills this purpose? Aristotle explores various forms of government, from monarchies and aristocracies to democracies. He analyzes their strengths and weaknesses, their tendencies toward corruption, and their capacity to promote the common good. For Aristotle, The ideal state is one that combines the best elements of each form, a polity that is governed not just by the few or the many, but by the best and most virtuous citizens. In Aristotle's ideal state, citizens are not passive subjects, but active participants in the political process. He emphasizes the importance of civic virtue and engagement, arguing that citizens should take an active role in governing and should cultivate the virtues necessary for political life. This includes not just wisdom and justice, but also courage and moderation, virtues that enable citizens to make wise decisions for the good of all. Aristotle also delves into the question of justice, a fundamental concern in any political system. He distinguishes between distributive justice, the fair distribution of goods and honors, and corrective justice, the rectification of wrongs and the maintenance of equality. For Aristotle, a just state is one that ensures a fair and equitable distribution of resources and opportunities, allowing all citizens to lead virtuous and fulfilling lives. But Aristotle's political theory is not just about the structure of the state and the role of citizens. It's also about education and the cultivation of virtue. He believes that the state has a role in educating its citizens, not just in practical skills, but in ethical and philosophical understanding. A well-governed state, in Aristotle's view, is one that nurtures the moral and intellectual development of its people, guiding them toward virtue and wisdom. As we listen to Aristotle's ideas on politics and society, we're struck by their enduring relevance. In a world still grappling with questions of governance, citizenship, and justice, Aristotle's insights offer a timeless perspective. He challenges us to think about the kind of society we want to live in, the values we want it to uphold, and the role we, as citizens, play in shaping it. In this exploration of Aristotle's political theories, we've journeyed through his vision of the ideal state, his analysis of different forms of government, and his thoughts on citizenship, justice, and education. We've seen how his ideas continue to influence our understanding of politics and society, offering a framework for thinking about governance, community, and the common good. As we close this chapter, let's reflect on the lessons Aristotle offers us. Let's consider the importance of civic engagement and virtue, the value of a just and well-ordered state, and the role of education in cultivating wise and virtuous citizens. Aristotle's politics is not just a theory of governance, it's a call to action, a reminder that we all have a part to play in creating a just, virtuous, and flourishing society. This is the legacy of Aristotle's political thought, a legacy that continues to inspire and challenge us to this day. Chapter 8: Rhetoric and Art. Gather around, dear listeners, as we turn the page to a new chapter in Aristotle's intellectual journey, a chapter where words and images take center stage. Here, we explore Aristotle's profound insights into the art of rhetoric and his thoughtful reflections on the nature and purpose of art. So, let's delve into these realms, guided by Aristotle's wise and discerning eye. In the vibrant cultural landscape of ancient Greece, where orators held sway in public forums and artists captured the essence of life in their work, Aristotle turns his attention to the power of communication and the beauty of art. He recognizes that words have the power to move, persuade, and enlighten, and he seeks to understand the principles that make communication effective. Imagine Aristotle in his study, surrounded by scrolls and deep in thought. He's composing his work on rhetoric, the art of persuasion. For Aristotle, rhetoric is not just about winning arguments or swaying audiences. It's about discovering and presenting the truth in a way that is both clear and compelling. He outlines 3 essential elements of effective rhetoric: ethos, the character and credibility of the speaker; pathos, the emotional appeal to the audience; and logos, the logical argument and evidence. As you listen to Aristotle's teachings on rhetoric, you begin to see how these elements come together in powerful communication. A trustworthy speaker, a resonant emotional appeal, and a strong logical argument are the keys to persuasion. But Aristotle also warns against using rhetoric for deceit or manipulation. True rhetoric, in his view, is a tool for understanding and sharing the truth, for the betterment of individuals and society. Now, let's turn our attention to Aristotle's views on art. Picture him in the theatre of Athens, watching a play by Sophocles or Euripides. He observes the way the drama captivates the audience, evoking fear, pity, and a deeper understanding of the human condition. This experience inspires Aristotle to contemplate the purpose and nature of art. In his reflections, Aristotle sees art not just as a form of entertainment, but as a means of exploring and expressing truth. He believes that art, at its best, is an imitation of life, a representation of the reality that helps us understand and appreciate the world around us. This concept, known as mimesis, is at the heart of Aristotle's aesthetics. But Aristotle's appreciation of art goes beyond its imitative function. He also considers the emotional and psychological effects of art on the audience. He introduces the idea of catharsis, the purging of emotions through engagement with art. For Aristotle, a tragedy, with its portrayal of suffering and resolution, allows the audience to experience and release their own emotions, leading to a sense of renewal and understanding. As we explore Aristotle's ideas about art, we begin to see the connections between his thoughts on rhetoric and his views on aesthetics. Both are forms of communication, ways of conveying truths and evoking responses. Both require skill, insight, and an understanding of the human heart and mind. And both, in Aristotle's view, have the power to enrich our lives, to make us more aware, more thoughtful, and more connected to the truths of our existence. In this chapter, we've journeyed through Aristotle's teachings on rhetoric and his reflections on art. We've seen how he seeks to understand the principles of effective communication and the purpose and nature of artistic expression. Aristotle's insights into rhetoric and art are not just academic theories. They are guides to understanding how we communicate, how we create, and how we comprehend the world around us. As we close this chapter, let's take with us the wisdom of Aristotle's words. Let's consider how we use our own powers of communication, how we respond to and create art, and how we engage with the truths that both rhetoric and art reveal. Aristotle's teachings on these subjects are more than just ancient philosophy. They are enduring insights into the human experience, insights that continue to inform and inspire us in our own journeys of communication and creation. This is the enduring legacy of Aristotle's exploration of rhetoric and art, a legacy that speaks to the heart of what it means to be human. Chapter 9. The Logical Mind. Gather close, listeners, as we now delve into one of the most profound aspects of Aristotle's legacy, his contributions to the realm of logic. In this chapter, we'll explore the intricate workings of Aristotle's logical system and its monumental impact on the way we think, reason, and understand the world. So, let's embark on this journey through the corridors of the logical mind. In the heart of ancient Athens, amidst the bustle of intellectual discourse and philosophical debate, Aristotle observes a need for a structured way to reason and argue. He sees that for humans to understand the world and communicate effectively, they need a solid foundation, a system that can guide their thinking and help them discern truth from falsehood. And so, Aristotle sets out to lay down the principles of what we now know as formal logic. Imagine Aristotle with his students, using everyday examples to illustrate his points. He begins with the basics, the structure of an argument. He teaches that at the heart of every logical argument are propositions, statements that declare something about the world. These propositions, he explains, can be combined in specific ways to form syllogisms, logical structures that lead us from premises to conclusions. Aristotle demonstrates with a simple example: all humans are mortal. Socrates is a human. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. With this, he shows how from two premises, a conclusion logically follows. This method, this way of connecting statements to arrive at a new understanding, is revolutionary. It provides a framework for reasoning that is clear, structured, and verifiable. But Aristotle's logical system goes deeper. He delves into the different types of propositions: universal, particular, affirmative, and negative, and how they interact. He explores the conditions for a valid syllogism and the various forms it can take. He even discusses the pitfalls of faulty reasoning, the fallacies that can lead us astray. His work, compiled in the Organon, becomes a comprehensive guide to reasoning, a toolkit for the logical mind. As we explore these concepts, we begin to see the beauty and power of Aristotelian logic. It's not just a dry set of rules. It's a way of thinking that encourages clarity, precision, and rigor. It's a means of seeking truth, of building our understanding step by step, proposition by proposition. And the impact of Aristotle's logic is immense. Throughout the centuries, his system remains the foundation of logical reasoning and a cornerstone of intellectual inquiry. It influences philosophers, scientists, mathematicians, and scholars in various fields, shaping the way they think, argue, and understand the world. In the Middle Ages, Aristotle's logic is rediscovered and integrated into the scholastic curriculum, becoming a fundamental part of education and debate. In the Renaissance, it underpins the scientific revolution, guiding thinkers like Galileo and Newton as they forge new paths in understanding. And even today, in the age of quantum mechanics and artificial intelligence, the principles of Aristotelian logic continue to inform and inspire. As we journey through this chapter, we're not just learning about ancient theories. We're gaining a deeper appreciation for the logical structure that underpins our thought and discourse. We're seeing how Aristotle's work lays the foundations for centuries of inquiry and discovery, how it helps us frame questions, analyze problems, and seek solutions. In this exploration of Aristotle's logical mind, we've encountered the principles that guide reasoning, the structure that underpins argument, and the lasting impact of a system that has shaped intellectual history. Aristotle's logic is more than just a set of rules. It's a testament to the power of the human mind to seek, understand, and communicate truth. As we close this chapter, let's carry with us the lessons of Aristotelian logic. Let's strive for clarity and precision in our thinking, for rigor and depth in our reasoning. Let's remember that at the heart of understanding and communication is a logical structure, a method that can guide us from confusion to clarity, from question to insight. This is the legacy of Aristotle's logical mind, a legacy that continues to illuminate our path to knowledge and truth. Chapter 10. Aristotle's Cosmos. Welcome, dear listeners, to a chapter where we gaze upwards into the starry skies of antiquity and ponder the mysteries of the universe alongside Aristotle. In Aristotle's Cosmos, we journey through his understanding of the heavens and the earth, unraveling the threads of his cosmological theories. So, let's ascend with Aristotle to the celestial spheres and explore the ancient cosmos with new eyes. In ancient Greece, where the glittering heavens inspire philosophers and poets alike, Aristotle turns his inquisitive mind towards the vast and mysterious universe. He seeks to understand the heavens above and the earth below, to discern the workings and structure of the cosmos. Aristotle's quest leads him to construct a comprehensive model of the universe, one that reflects his keen observations and philosophical insights. Picture Aristotle under the Athenian sky, observing the movements of the stars and planets. He contemplates the nature of celestial bodies, their composition, and their place in the universe. Unlike his predecessors, who often attributed the workings of the cosmos to the whims of gods, Aristotle seeks a more rational and structured explanation. He proposes a universe governed by natural laws and principles, a cosmos of order and reason. Aristotle's model of the universe is geocentric, with the Earth at its center. He envisions the Earth as a fixed, immobile point, around which the heavens rotate in perfect, concentric spheres. These spheres, he posits, are made of a fifth element, the quintessence or ether, a substance beyond the four earthly elements of earth, air, fire, and water. This ether is unchanging and incorruptible, a fitting material for the divine and eternal heavens. As Aristotle describes the motion of the stars and planets, he introduces the concept of the prime mover, an unchanging and eternal force that sets the outermost sphere of the stars in motion. This motion, he explains, cascades down through the spheres, bringing movement and life to the entire cosmos. The prime mover, for Aristotle, is not a personal god intervening in the world, but an abstract principle of pure actuality and perfection, the ultimate cause and purpose of all motion in the universe. But Aristotle's cosmos is not just about the heavens. He also delves into the nature of the earth and its elements. He observes the natural world, studying the behavior of water, air, earth, and fire. He notes how these elements move and interact, how they rise and fall according to their nature. For Aristotle, the earth is a dynamic place of change and transformation, a sharp contrast to the unchanging perfection of the heavenly spheres. Aristotle's cosmological theories reflect his broader philosophical beliefs. He sees the universe as a hierarchy, with the perfect and unchanging heavens above and the changing, imperfect earth below. This hierarchy mirrors his beliefs about reality and being, with the divine and eternal on one end and the earthly and transient on the other. It's a cosmos that is both rational and purposeful, reflecting the order and reason that Aristotle believes underpin the world. As we explore Aristotle's cosmos, we're not just learning about ancient theories. We're gaining insights into how one of history's greatest minds understood the universe. We see how Aristotle's observations and reasoning lead him to construct a model of the cosmos that, while flawed by modern standards, is a testament to the human desire to understand the mysteries of existence. In this chapter, we've journeyed with Aristotle through the celestial spheres and the earthly realm. We've explored his model of the universe, his concepts of the prime mover and the quintessence, and his insights into the nature of the earth and its elements. Aristotle's cosmology is a fascinating blend of observation, philosophy, and speculation, a window into the ancient understanding of the cosmos. As we close this chapter, let's reflect on the enduring legacy of Aristotle's cosmic vision. Let's appreciate the wonder and curiosity that drove him to seek understanding of the vast and mysterious universe. And let's remember that, like Aristotle, we are all explorers of the cosmos, seeking to unravel its mysteries and comprehend its wonders. This is the journey of Aristotle's cosmos, a journey of wonder, reason, and discovery that continues to inspire and enlighten us on our own celestial voyages. Chapter 11. Tutor to a King. Gather around, listeners, as we unfold a chapter in Aristotle's life that intertwines the destiny of a philosopher with that of a future conqueror. In Tutor to a King, we explore Aristotle's role as a mentor to none other than Alexander the Great. This chapter isn't just a tale of teacher and pupil, It's a story of how two of history's most influential figures might have shaped each other's destinies. In the ancient kingdom of Macedon, a young prince named Alexander stands on the brink of an extraordinary life. His father, King Philip II, recognizes the spark of greatness in his son and knows that only the finest education will prepare him for the future. Who better to tutor the future king than Aristotle, the philosopher whose wisdom illuminates the Greek world? Imagine the scene. Aristotle arrives at the Macedonian court, a place of power and intrigue, to take on the role of tutor to the young prince. It's a responsibility he accepts with seriousness and hope. Here is a chance to shape a mind that could, in turn, shape the world. Aristotle and Alexander's relationship is one of intellect and influence. Aristotle, with his vast knowledge and philosophical depth, sees in Alexander not just a student, but a future leader who could realize his ideas on a grand scale. For Alexander, Aristotle is not just a teacher, but a window to a world of ideas, ethics, and governance. As Aristotle teaches Alexander, he introduces him to a range of subjects, from philosophy and science to politics and ethics. He instills in Alexander the virtues of courage, wisdom, and moderation. He teaches him the importance of knowledge and the power of reason. But perhaps most importantly, Aristotle imparts to Alexander the idea that a true leader is a philosopher king, one who rules not just with strength, but with wisdom and justice. Consider the impact of these lessons on a young mind destined for greatness. Alexander's education under Aristotle shapes his understanding of the world and his vision of leadership. He learns to value wisdom and knowledge, to contemplate the broader implications of his actions, and to aspire to a higher ideal of rulership. But this relationship is not a one-way street. Aristotle, too, is influenced by his royal pupil. Through Alexander, he sees the potential for his ideas to be enacted on a grand scale. He witnesses the makings of a leader who could change the world, and this experience undoubtedly shapes his own thoughts on politics, leadership, and the potential of individuals to make a difference. As Alexander grows and eventually takes the throne, his actions reflect the lessons of his tutor. His quest to conquer and unite the known world is driven not just by a desire for power, but by a vision of a vast, Hellenistic empire where Greek culture and learning could spread and flourish. Under Alexander's rule, cities like Alexandria become centers of learning and culture, reflecting the ideals of knowledge and inquiry that Aristotle held dear. Yet, the relationship between Aristotle and Alexander is not without its complexities and challenges. As Alexander's empire expands, he encounters situations that test the very lessons he learned from Aristotle. He faces ethical dilemmas and decisions that weigh heavily on his conscience. In these moments, we can't help but wonder how Aristotle's teachings guide or conflict with the young king's actions. In this chapter, we've journeyed through the intellectual and personal bond between Aristotle and Alexander the Great. We've explored how a philosopher shaped the mind of a future king, and how that king, in turn, carried those lessons into his vast empire. Aristotle's role as a tutor to Alexander is a testament to the profound impact that education and mentorship can have on individuals, and through them, on history. As we close this chapter, let's reflect on the enduring legacy of this unique relationship. Let's consider how the exchange of ideas between teacher and pupil, philosopher and conqueror, continues to inspire and intrigue us. And let's remember that the influence of knowledge, wisdom, and ethical guidance can reach far beyond the walls of a classroom or the boundaries of a kingdom. This is the story of Tutor to a King, a tale of mentorship, leadership, and the indelible mark that two extraordinary individuals left on the world. Chapter 12. The Lyceum Legacy. In this chapter, dear listeners, we step into the lasting legacy of Aristotle's Lyceum, a school that became a cornerstone of Western thought. Here, we will uncover the enduring impact of Aristotle's teachings as they ripple through time, carried forth by his students and their students after them. So, let's walk the peripatetic paths of the Lyceum once again, this time to explore its lasting influence. The Lyceum, with its verdant gardens and shaded walkways, was more than just a school. It was a beacon of knowledge and inquiry. Here, Aristotle spent most of his later years teaching, writing, and conducting research. But the legacy of the Lyceum doesn't merely rest on Aristotle's shoulders. It is also carried by the multitude of students who pass through its halls, each contributing to the spread of Aristotelian thought. Imagine the Lyceum as a hub of intellectual activity where students from all over the Greek world came to learn. They were drawn not just by Aristotle's reputation, but by the promise of engaging in rigorous debate, of exploring a wide range of subjects, and of being part of a vibrant scholarly community. These students didn't just absorb knowledge, they questioned, discussed, and expanded upon it. Aristotle's method of teaching encouraged this active engagement. He didn't want students who would passively accept his words as truth. Instead, he sought to cultivate thinkers, individuals who would challenge and refine his ideas. This dynamic environment fostered a spirit of inquiry and debate that would define the Lyceum and its legacy. As Aristotle's students graduated, they carried with them the seeds of his teachings. Some stayed in Athens, becoming teachers and scholars in their own right. Others spread across the Greek world, taking positions in courts, academies, and government. Each of them carried a spark of the Lyceum, a commitment to critical thinking and a deep understanding of Aristotelian philosophy. But the influence of the Lyceum extended beyond its immediate graduates. As Aristotelian thought spread, it began to shape various fields of study. In science, Aristotle's empirical approach laid the groundwork for future research and discovery. In ethics and politics, his ideas continued to be debated and developed, influencing leaders and thinkers for centuries to come. Even in the arts, Aristotle's Poetics would remain a touchstone for writers and critics. The legacy of the Lyceum also lived on through the texts Aristotle left behind. These works, though often just lecture notes or incomplete thoughts, were carefully preserved and studied by successive generations. They became a cornerstone of the curriculum in the Hellenistic schools that followed, and later in the Roman and Islamic worlds. In the Middle Ages, Aristotle's works were rediscovered and became a central part of the scholastic tradition, influencing thinkers like Thomas Aquinas and shaping the intellectual landscape of the time. But perhaps the most lasting impact of the Lyceum is its embodiment of a particular approach to learning and inquiry. Aristotle's school was a place where knowledge was not just received, but interrogated, where students were not just learners, but thinkers. This spirit of critical engagement and rigorous debate is a legacy that continues to inform educational institutions and intellectual discourse to this day. In this chapter, we've traversed the lasting legacy of Aristotle's Lyceum. We've seen how it became a seedbed for ideas that would spread far and wide, influencing countless fields and generations. We've explored the impact of Aristotle's students, the preservation and study of his texts, and the enduring ethos of inquiry and debate that he fostered. As we close this chapter, let's reflect on the enduring power of education and ideas. Let's remember that the influence of a great teacher, a vibrant intellectual community, and a commitment to critical thinking can extend far beyond the walls of any school. This is the legacy of the Lyceum, a testament to the enduring impact of Aristotle and his students on the world of learning and beyond. It's a legacy that reminds us of the lasting power of ideas and the importance of fostering a spirit of inquiry in every generation. Chapter 13. Challenging the Master. Welcome, dear listeners, to a chapter that unfolds the dramatic intellectual journey of Aristotle, a tale of reverence, divergence, and philosophical evolution. Here, in Challenging the Master, we explore the fascinating dynamics between Aristotle and his former teacher, Plato, and the intellectual tensions that shaped the course of Western thought. So, let's delve into the story of how one great mind was forged in the shadow of another, only to emerge into the light of its own distinct vision. In the hallowed halls of Plato's Academy, where the spirit of inquiry and debate fills the air, young Aristotle is a standout student. He admires Plato, the venerable philosopher whose ideas about forms and realities have captivated the minds of many. Plato's vision of a world of perfect forms, a realm beyond the imperfections of the material world, is a cornerstone of his teaching. And for a time, Aristotle is a devoted follower, absorbing and contemplating his teacher's doctrines. But as Aristotle's understanding deepens, so does his critical eye. He begins to see cracks in the foundation of Plato's theories, questions that gnaw at the edges of the idealistic forms. Aristotle, with his keen observational skills and empirical mindset, starts to wonder, are these perfect forms truly the ultimate reality? Is there a different way to understand the world around us? Imagine Aristotle pacing the gardens of the Academy, wrestling with these questions. He respects Plato, but he cannot ignore the pull of his own observations and reasoning. Gradually, Aristotle's ideas begin to diverge from his teachers. He proposes that the true essence of things, their substance, is not found in some abstract realm of forms, but in the objects themselves. For Aristotle, form and matter are inseparably combined in the concrete reality of the world. This is a significant shift, one that moves away from Plato's dualism and toward a more integrated understanding of existence. Aristotle also challenges Plato's idea of the philosopher-king, the notion that the best rulers are those who grasp the world of forms. Instead, Aristotle argues for a more practical approach to governance, one that considers the nature of human beings and the realities of societal organization. He sees politics as a complex, dynamic field, not just an application of philosophical principles. These disagreements are not just minor quibbles, they represent a profound shift in philosophical perspective. Aristotle's emphasis on empirical observation, his exploration of the natural world, and his interest in the practicalities of life all stand in contrast to Plato's more abstract, idealistic approach. But let's not misunderstand the nature of this intellectual divergence. It's not a bitter rivalry or a complete rejection of Plato's ideas. Rather, it's the natural progression of thought, the way new ideas are often born from the fertile ground of old ones. Aristotle's challenges to Plato are a testament to the vibrancy of philosophical discourse, a demonstration of how each generation builds upon the last. As Aristotle's ideas take shape, they begin to influence others, sparking debates and discussions that ripple through the academy and beyond. Some see him as a bold innovator, while others view him as a heretic straying from the true path of philosophy. But regardless of the varied reactions, one thing is clear. Aristotle's thought represents a new chapter in the story of philosophy, a new way of understanding the world. In this chapter, we've witnessed the intellectual drama of Aristotle's divergence from Plato. We've explored the tensions and disagreements that marked the evolution of his thought. And we've seen how these philosophical conflicts are not just academic debates, but pivotal moments in the history of ideas. As we close this chapter, let's reflect on the importance of questioning, of challenging established doctrines, and of forging new paths in the pursuit of understanding. Let's remember that intellectual growth often comes from the tension between old and new, between reverence and critique. This is the legacy of Aristotle's challenge to his master, a legacy that reminds us of the dynamic and ever-evolving nature of human thought. So, let's carry forward the spirit of inquiry and the courage to question, for this is the path to wisdom and insight. This is the story of challenging the master, a tale of intellectual courage and the enduring quest for truth. Chapter 14. Aristotle in the Middle Ages. Welcome, listeners, to a chapter that spans continents and centuries, a chapter where the legacy of Aristotle's thought journeys through time and space. In Aristotle in the Middle Ages, we trace the remarkable path of his works as they are preserved, translated, and revered by different cultures. This is a story of how ideas transcend borders and how Aristotle's writings become a bridge between civilizations. As the ancient Greek world fades and the Western Roman Empire crumbles, Aristotle's works could have been lost to the sands of time, but instead they embark on an extraordinary voyage, first to the Islamic world and then to medieval Europe, where they spark a renaissance of learning and inquiry. Imagine the great libraries and intellectual centers of the Islamic Golden Age, where scholars are engaged in an ambitious project to gather and translate the knowledge of the ancients. In cities like Baghdad and Cordoba, Aristotle's works are translated into Arabic, meticulously studied and commented upon by scholars such as Al-Kindi, Al-Farabi, and the great Avicenna. These Islamic philosophers do not merely preserve Aristotle's ideas. They engage with them, critique them, and integrate them into their own philosophical systems. Through their translations and commentaries, Aristotle's works become foundational texts in the Islamic world. His logic is used to structure theological arguments, his ethics and politics are debated and adapted, and his natural philosophy informs scientific inquiry. The Islamic scholars' reverence and critical engagement with Aristotle ensure that his ideas continue to live and breathe in a new cultural and religious context. But Aristotle's journey doesn't end in the Islamic world. As Europe emerges from the Dark Ages and enters the scholastic period, there is a growing hunger for knowledge and a reverence for the wisdom of the ancients. Through complex networks of trade and scholarship, Aristotle's works, now in Arabic, find their way to the burgeoning centers of learning in Europe. In places like Toledo and Sicily, a new wave of translations begins, this time from Arabic to Latin. Scholars like Gerard of Cremona and Thomas Aquinas undertake the monumental task of translating and interpreting Aristotle's works, making them accessible to the European intellectual community. These translations are not just linguistic exercises, they are acts of cultural transmission, bringing the rich intellectual traditions of the Islamic world to the doorstep of Europe. As Aristotle's works spread through medieval Europe, they ignite a fire of intellectual activity. His logic becomes the standard framework for academic debate. His ethics and politics are integrated into the fabric of European thought, and his natural philosophy lays the groundwork for the scientific revolution to come. In the great universities of Paris, Oxford, and elsewhere, Aristotle is known as the philosopher, a testament to the profound and unparalleled impact of his thought. But this journey is not without its challenges. Aristotle's ideas sometimes clash with Christian doctrine, leading to debates and condemnations. Yet, even these conflicts serve to deepen the engagement with his works, as scholars and theologians wrestle with how to reconcile Aristotelian philosophy with Christian theology. In this crucible of conflict and contemplation, Aristotle's works are not just preserved, they are transformed, becoming a living part of the intellectual heritage of the West. In this chapter, We've followed the remarkable journey of Aristotle's texts from ancient Greece to the Islamic world and medieval Europe. We've seen how his ideas were preserved, translated, and integrated into new cultures and contexts. We've witnessed the enduring power of Aristotle's thought to inspire, challenge, and enlighten across centuries and continents. As we close this chapter, let's reflect on the incredible journey of ideas, the way they can transcend time and place, language and culture. Let's remember the scholars and translators who, over the centuries, have acted as the custodians and transmitters of knowledge. And let's appreciate the profound interconnectedness of our intellectual heritage, a tapestry woven from threads that stretch across the globe and through the ages. This is the story of Aristotle in the Middle Ages, a testament to the enduring legacy of one of history's greatest minds and the unquenchable human thirst for knowledge and understanding. Chapter 15. The Renaissance Rebirth. Welcome, esteemed listeners, to a vibrant chapter in the story of Aristotle's enduring legacy. In The Renaissance Rebirth, we trace the resurgence of interest in Aristotle's works during the Renaissance, a period of profound cultural and intellectual awakening in Europe. This is a tale of rediscovery and revitalization, where ancient wisdom sparks new thoughts, shaping the contours of modern thinking. As the Middle Ages give way to the Renaissance, Europe is stirring with a renewed curiosity about the world and a hunger for knowledge. The printing press has just been invented, cities are thriving as centers of trade and culture, and there's a growing interest in the classical texts of Greece and Rome. Into this world of change and exploration, Aristotle's works re-emerge, not as relics of a bygone era, but as living sources of wisdom and insight. Picture the bustling streets of Florence, the heart of the Renaissance, where scholars, artists, and thinkers gather to discuss and debate ideas. Here, in the cradle of humanism, there's a deep-seated belief in the potential of the human mind and a desire to return to the sources of ancient wisdom. Aristotle, with his rigorous methods and comprehensive approach to knowledge, is a perfect fit for this new world. As Aristotle's works are rediscovered, they're printed and circulated widely, reaching a broader audience than ever before. Scholars pore over his texts, translating them into vernacular languages and commenting on their meanings. These works become the subject of intense study and discussion, influencing thinkers, writers, and artists across Europe. But what is it about Aristotle's works that captures the Renaissance imagination? It's his methodical approach to knowledge, his belief in observation and empirical inquiry, and his comprehensive vision of the natural world. These qualities resonate with the Renaissance spirit of exploration and discovery. Aristotle's works provide a framework for understanding the universe, from the mechanics of the heavens to the workings of the human body. One of the key figures in this revival of Aristotelian thought is Thomas Aquinas, who, in the previous century, had worked to reconcile Aristotle's philosophy with Christian doctrine. His writings set the stage for a broader acceptance of Aristotle in the Renaissance, allowing his ideas to be integrated into the fabric of European thought. Aristotle's influence during the Renaissance is not confined to philosophy and science. His ideas permeate the arts as well. His Poetics, a treatise on drama and literary criticism, becomes a cornerstone of Renaissance literary theory. Playwrights and poets, from Shakespeare to Dante, draw on Aristotelian concepts in their works, seeking to evoke the cathartic emotions that Aristotle described. But the Renaissance is also a time of challenge and change. As explorers chart new territories and scientists observe the heavens through telescopes, some of Aristotle's ideas are called into question. The Aristotelian cosmos, with its geocentric model and crystalline spheres, begins to crumble under the weight of new observations. Yet, even as some of his scientific theories are disproven, the critical, inquisitive spirit of Aristotelian thought continues to inspire. In this chapter, we've journeyed through the Renaissance, a period of rebirth and rediscovery, where Aristotle's works are revived and embraced. We've seen how his ideas influenced thinkers, artists and scientists, shaping the course of European thought and laying the groundwork for the modern world. As we close this chapter, let's reflect on the power of ideas to transcend time and continue to inspire generations. Let's remember that the pursuit of knowledge is an ongoing journey, one that builds on the past to forge the future. And let's appreciate the Renaissance as a pivotal moment in this journey, a time when the wisdom of Aristotle was reborn, enriching the world with its light. This is the story of the Renaissance rebirth, a chapter in the enduring saga of one of history's greatest minds and his lasting impact on the world. Chapter 16. A Legacy for the Ages. Dear listeners, as we reach the final chapter of our journey through the life and legacy of Aristotle, we pause to reflect on the monumental impact this singular philosopher has had across centuries and continents. A legacy for the ages is not just a summary of what has been, it's a testament to the enduring relevance of Aristotle's ideas and how they continue to shape our understanding of the world today. So, let's embark on this last leg of our journey, exploring the vast expanse of Aristotle's influence. In the realms of science, philosophy, and education, Aristotle's presence looms large. His methods and ideas, though developed over 2 millennia ago, have set the stage for countless discoveries and intellectual pursuits. Imagine the tapestry of human knowledge as a grand, interwoven fabric. At its very warp and weft, you'll find the threads of Aristotelian thought, integral and pervasive. In the realm of science, Aristotle's legacy is complex and multifaceted. While some of his specific theories have been superseded by later discoveries, his broader approach to scientific inquiry continues to influence how we study and understand the natural world. His emphasis on observation and empirical evidence, his classification of the living world, and his exploration of causality all laid the groundwork for the scientific method. Even today, as we push the boundaries of knowledge, we are following paths that Aristotle helped to carve. In philosophy, Aristotle's impact is nothing short of profound. His work encompasses nearly every aspect of human inquiry, from ethics and politics to metaphysics and aesthetics. Philosophers throughout the ages have built upon, debated, and revisited his ideas. His Nicomachean ethics continues to inform our understanding of virtue and moral character. His Politics remains a foundational text in political theory, and his metaphysics still challenges and inspires those who seek to understand the nature of reality. But perhaps Aristotle's most enduring legacy is in the field of education. His approach to teaching and learning, his belief in the importance of cultivating the intellect and the character, has shaped educational principles for centuries. The very structure of academia, with its divisions into different branches of knowledge, echoes the Aristotelian pursuit of a comprehensive understanding of the world. As we explore the vast landscape of Aristotle's influence, we also find his fingerprints on unexpected facets of modern life. In psychology, his insights into human behavior and motivation continue to resonate. In rhetoric and communication, his principles of persuasion underpin everything from political speeches to advertising campaigns. And in literature and the arts, his poetics still informs our understanding of narrative and drama. But why, you might ask, does Aristotle's legacy endure so powerfully? Why, after all these years, do we continue to turn to his works for guidance and insight? The answer lies in the universality and depth of his thought. Aristotle's works address the most fundamental questions of human existence: what it means to live a good life, how we should organize our societies, and how we can understand the world around us. These are not questions that belong to any single era. They are the perennial questions that each generation must answer for itself. As we conclude this chapter and this journey through the life and teachings of Aristotle, let's consider the living nature of his legacy. The ideas of Aristotle are not static relics. They are dynamic and evolving, interpreted and reinterpreted by each generation. His influence is not just a historical fact. It's an ongoing conversation, one that we are all a part of. In reflecting on a legacy for the ages, we recognize that Aristotle's true legacy is the way he has taught us to think, to observe the world with curiosity, to reason with rigor, and to strive for a deeper understanding of the world and our place within it. As we move forward, carrying the light of knowledge into the future, let's do so with the spirit of Aristotle guiding us, seeking truth, cultivating virtue, and always questioning. Dear listeners, as we close the book on this chapter and on the incredible saga of Aristotle, let's carry forward the lessons we've learned. Let's honor the legacy of this great thinker, not just by remembering what he taught, but by living it, by embracing the quest for knowledge, the pursuit of virtue, and the deep, enduring desire to understand the world and our place within it. This is the legacy of Aristotle, a legacy that truly is for the ages.